University for today's Great Northwest Athletic Conference match featuring your Western Washington Vikings and the Montana State Billings Yellow Jackets. We welcome all of our fans to our Latine Heritage Month celebration here at Harrington Field. Prior to the start of today's 90-minute match, we will introduce the starting 11 for both teams, starting with the visiting Yellow Jackets. Starting with the visiting Yellow Jackets out of Montana State Billings. Their starting 11 is announced by head coach Kyle Cuevas and assistant coaches Milo Downey, Tom Pearson, and Ty Bowling. And now here is the Yellow Jackets starting lineup. Let's hear it for the starting Yellow Jackets. And now let's meet the host Vikings of Western Washington, as announced by head coach Greg Brisbane and his assistant coaches Chuck Fitz, Matt Zagulis, and Kyle Langowski. Now for the Vikings starting 11. Those are your starting Vikings. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather tonight on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join us in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Now, fans, would you please rise if able and turn your attention to the flag to the right of the scoreboard for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome to Harrington Field and welcome to Bellingham, Washington, folks. We have 180 minutes of soccer on tap in sideways rain. I am your voice of Viking soccer, Adam Race. I've been doing this for 3 years, and this is by far the worst I've ever seen it. Pouring buckets and buckets of rain, wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour in the last 24 hours in Bellingham, Washington. And of course, that falls on a day that the Vikings play a doubleheader, the first of which is the matchup you are about to see, Western Washington men against Montana State University Billings Yellow Jackets. This is a game between a couple of teams in a similar spot this season. A couple teams which have had success on the attack and defense, but unable to sustain success on either of those fronts throughout the season. Vikings coming into this game 1-2-1 in GNAC play. They are coming off a resounding 7-2 win on the road against St. Martin's down in Lacey, a game in which they doubled their scoring output for the 2024 season. MSUB, they're coming off a 0-0 draw on the road against Northwest Nazarene. This is their first road trip of GNAC play in 2024. They are 2-1-1, currently sitting fourth place in the GNAC. Defying expectations so far in 2024 are the MSU Billings Yellow Jackets. In the GNAC preseason poll, they were put second last in sixth place, but they have picked up some really good results. A 5-0 win against St. Martin's, beating Simon Fraser in an upset 2-0 result to start off GNAC play. Simon Fraser, a team which won the GNAC last year, as head referee Jallo Bubakar braving the weather, blowing the whistle, and we are underway. Vikings in the black jerseys, dark blue going left to right on your screen in this first 45. MSUB in the white. They are going to attack from right to left on your screen. Once again, I am Adam Race, your voice of Vikings soccer. Thank you very much for tuning in here to Vikings TV. We are pulling out all the stops to bring the coverage to you here on a, quite frankly, dreadful day in Bellingham, on Western Washington University's South Campus, Harrington Field. Vikings coming off a recent road trip in which they, of course, were able to pick up that 7-2 win against St. Martin's. That was their first GNAC win of 2024, just looking to find their stride after a really tough opening schedule, which included a ranked Western Oregon team, as MSUB will drive down the left side here, working through Florian Senf. He plays it in, and now into the middle, across goal, an early opportunity, and that's a first-minute penalty kick. Billings are going to have a chance from the spot to make this 1-0 seconds after the opening whistle has blown. It was a little too much of a handsy defense on the far end. Jacob Sudberg and Krubel Testfe, the defenders involved over there, and the Vikings, who gave up a penalty in a 2-0 loss last time here at Harrington against Northwest Nazarene, immediately fall victim of the referee's whistle once again, and it's going to be Charlie Dyer trying to stop a penalty for the first time this year. The taker will be Guillermo Gonzalez, a all-GNAC selection last year, looking for his first goal of 2024. For the early opener, Gonzalez, the run-up, takes and scores. 1-0 Yellow Jackets, and we have just gotten started. A nightmare start for Western Washington, and on a day like this, you wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of goals going in. Tough for defenders, tough for goalkeepers. This could be a high-scoring affair. Both teams currently averaging over a goal per game. That, of course, highly helped by these two teams' results against St. Martin's. Each team beat the Saints 5-0. And Western Washington immediately are going to have to respond. Vikings have overcome a deficit once this season. It was on the road against rivals Seattle Pacific. It was a game in which they trailed 1-0 and 2-1, and both times found game-tying goals. Ended up drawing that one 2-2 down at Interbase Stadium in Seattle. Stands as their best GNAC result of the season until that win against SMU. Barely had an opportunity to talk about the two teams already. Gonzalez on the score sheet for his first tally of 2024 as Eric Bunnell tries to spring ahead. Vikings looking for a quick answer. Feeds it through to Janssen. Took a heavy touch into the thankful arms of the goalkeeper, the freshman Fred Reiter. Reiter, one of a couple freshman goalkeepers who have gotten starts for MSUB in 2024 under first season head coach Paul Cuevas. As Reiter blasts it long, about 3/4 down the field. It's headed back by Sebastiano Silvetti. Silvetti, a player who picked up his second collegiate goal in that win against SMU off of a corner kick. A tall, aerially dominant center back who has found success on set pieces, and finally in 2024 able to make good on that success. It was also off a set piece which he scored his lone goal of 2023. That was against Simon Fraser in Burnaby. So first shot of the game is the penalty kick, which finds the back of the net. And that'll go down as a shot by Albin Janssen, which was really more of just a heavy touch, which found the hands of Reiter. We do apologize. We're going to have some blindness on the broadcast here. This near side corner that the Vikings will be attacking into, hard for me or the camera to spot. We'll try our best to describe the action for you. Working through, be an understatement to say, some tough conditions. Bunnell He scored in the game against SMU. He lays it off to Sundberg. Sundberg puts it on the deck, into the middle, looking for Janssen. Janssen goes down, and that's a penalty. 3 minutes into this match, and defenders for both teams are having a tough time coping with the conditions. And the Vikings a chance to equalize. It'll be Quao Serrano stepping up. Quao, who had 2 goals and an assist against SMU. Make that a goal and 2 assists. His first goal contributions of 2024. He wants another one right here. His first was from the spot. Can he make it 2 for 2? Yes, he can. Waits for the goalkeeper to go the wrong way. And we are off and flying. 1-1 with 3 minutes gone. Quao Serrano picks up his first Harrington Field goal of 2024. And we have got a ball game here, folks. You knew it was going to be entertaining with these conditions. These are not good conditions to play clean defensive soccer in. We could be looking at a shootout here. And the brave fans here at Harrington Field getting excited for this. Big props to those who have braved these conditions. Watch the boys play. A Western Washington team which is currently underperforming their GNAC pole position, their preseason pole position, mind you, and MSUB, who are above those expectations. They've played similar games, good defenses, both of them top 3 defenses in the GNAC, but that might not matter much today. It might be about the goal scoring, even for 2 defensive squads that are amongst the best in the conference. This is tough to deal with. 3 shots in this game, 2 of them from the spot, 2 of them in the back of the net. MSUB forges ahead. They get it off to Isaac Perez, a junior out of Greeley, Colorado. Back to Jack Jarrett, getting it down the wing now. A nice move down there by Florian Senf. Into the box, a sliding tackle is going to do just enough from Sebastiano Silvetti. Dyer also got a piece of it. And Jallo Boubacar is going to call a goal kick. They're going to say it came off of Dyer, back off of Florian Senf, the German, and out for a goal kick. Despite Billings' protests, that's a good piece of defensive play. Certainly not a difficult day to lay down a slide tackle on. Interestingly enough, defensively, these are also the 2 teams in the GNAC which commit the most fouls. These are 2 teams that are not scared to get stuck into matches, defend tough, and it's been effective for them. Vikings conceding just 1.1 goals per game, MSUB at 1.3. Vikings, who with that win against SMU, snapped a 5-game winless run, which included 3 losses and 2 draws as the wind starts to pick up in a major way. So we're trying to hold the broadcasting equipment in here. Folks, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if we're going to have all 90 minutes for this game or the last, but if we don't, we've already seen some action. And we're going to try our darndest to keep this going. Wow, Serrano takes a hit after the pass, and he'll draw a foul. The wind blowing in from the right side of your screen to the left. Currently, that will favor MSUB if the winds don't change. You might be able to see on your screen the rain going sideways. Krubel Tesfaye plays it down the far wide area. Sundberg tries to go 1-2 with Janssen, can't bring down the first touch, and no surprise on that. Now, to those watching at home, I would like to make it clear that I spent hours taking notes for this game on my laptop. I cannot use those notes. There's no way I'm getting a laptop up here. The players playing in conditions that they're not used to, the broadcasters not in a position that they're used to, but everybody making do right now. MSUB have a throw in the attacking third. It seems like every single attacking move from either of his teams has threatened a goal. The defenses have just not been able to get stuck in on this waterlogged turf. Thrown in towards Jack Jarrett, laid back to the wide area, trying to dribble around Quao. On the ball is Sam Kemmer. Deflected cross is going to end in a corner kick. Kemmer out there getting his third start of the season, his second in a row. All that came after his hat trick he scored against St. Martin's University in that 5-0 win. A hat trick which accounts for 3 of his 4 goals in 2024. It's an MSU team which has caused a couple shocks. A 2-0 win against Simon Fraser and a 2-2 draw against a ranked Fort Lewis College. As the corner kick goes to the top of the 6-yard box, rising up to get it is the tall frame of Sebastiano Silvetti. Still in the danger area though. Dyer lets that one go over his crossbar. Goal kick. Vikings in their 7-2 win against St. Martin's were able to spread out the scoring. Only player with multiple goals was Andrew Roeder, who is not getting the start today. Roeder, who scored a brace in the last 2 minutes of the match to make it that lopsided 7-2 scoreline. Vikings led 4-0 in that game. Silvetti bats off one attempted through ball, but it still goes in to the feet of the goal scorer, Guillermo Gonzalez. He can't control it. Goal kick, Vikings. Western Washington men taking on MSUB in this 4 o'clock kickoff. Be shortly followed by a massive fixture. The Western Washington Viking women's soccer team taking on Simon Fraser in a top of the conference clash, which could have major postseason impact as a missed touch by Ryder gives it to Albin Janssen in the box. Chips it back in. Wall is waiting for it. Skips past the defense. Wall has space to shoot, and he sends it wide right and high. Caden Wall had all sorts of time right there. Maybe would have liked to see him try to bring that down and take it on a second touch. No defender in his zip code. Wall, who had a pair of assists against against St. Martin's. He has been a provider here in his senior year with 3 assists to his name. Vikings leading point getter in 2024 is Albin Janssen, but in a different way than we've been used to seeing. He has been the finisher in past years, but in a more wide role this year, he's been the producer. He's got a boatload of assists to go along with a few goals. Working off that wing, he also drew a penalty kick, which Quao Serrano converted on the game against SMU last week. He also drew the penalty here today. Elusive player, one of the best dribblers in the conference. So tough to get off the ball and such speed. No wonder that he's getting fouled in the box pretty often. He's drawn a number of penalties this year. Isaac Perez battles to push it ahead. Pops out to Bunnell. Back to Quao. Quao launches one ahead for Janssen to run onto, just giving the striker a chance in a foot race. He can't win that one, though. Florian Senf has been very active down this left wide area so far in this one. 10 minutes gone, 1-1. Yellow Jackets and Vikings in an unorthodox matchup here. Goes into the middle, skips all the way to the far post, and sending it over is Bjarne Fedkenhauer. Fedkenhauer, the junior out of Ahrensburg, Germany, was all alone at the far post but couldn't keep the shot down. Charlie Dyer thankful right there as he watched it sail over the crossbar. Joar Tidblom, the co-captain, one of the 2 Swedes out there for Western Washington, sends it long, comes right back to him, and now it's Silvetti. Launches it ahead towards Janssen, lets it bounce over his head, taken down by the Yellow Jackets. Perez, switching play to the far side, so that's something for Jarrett to chase. He's going to get there. Jack Jarrett probing in down the right wing. Passes it ahead. It was intended for Fedkenhauer, but was beyond him in the end. Aiden Fernandez scored last time here at Harrington. What ended up being a consolation goal in a 2-1 loss against Northwest Nazarene, as Dyer's out to claim that one. Beyond the on-rushing striker, good reaction by the debutant goalkeeper, Charlie Dyer. As being dispossessed, but with a foul, is Quao Serrano. Foul goes against Florian Senf. Dyer, who had a really frustrating outing against Northwest Nazarene, a game where the Vikings more than quadrupled the Nighthawks shot total. NNU had just 4 shots, both of them that were on target found the back of the net, both off counterattacks. And to the credit of Charlie Dyer, one of those was from the spot, and one of those was a tough shot to block. It really wasn't the kind of situation where he should have saved it, but always frustrating to lose 2-1 in a game where you don't make any saves. But he has been outstanding in his first year as a Viking. Lucas Hakamata, co-captain, puts it up for the pace of Alvin Janssen. Janssen down in the corner. He's going to earn a throw-in. Hakamata down to take it. Hakamata and Janssen, the two players down there. Thrown in towards Hakamata. Aiden Fernandez with him. Janssen, as the clock is going to get stopped here, as Janssen received a push in the back right outside of the penalty area, close to being another penalty kick. Clock is stopped, which means either Jalil Bubakar is going to issue a card here to number 34, Arlo Follett, or it'll just be a talking to. It will just be a talking to for Follett. So it's going to be a free kick. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but it's going to be a free kick just at the edge of the box here. Caden Wall to take, about the shortest corner kick routine you're going to see, right on that end line. It's a one-player wall for MSUB that Fred Ryder has set up to try to defend this set piece. Vikings have had a lot of success off of set pieces, due in large part to great delivery by dead ball specialist Caden Wall. He's on it here. Launches it near post, headed away. MSUB got there first. Flashed across net, but quick to react was the Yellow Jacket back line. Still with the Vikings now. Sundberg launches it back into that corner, and this time it's going to be beyond Hakamata and out for an MSUB throw. Vikings trying to pick up consecutive wins for the first time in GNAC play in 2024. A loss to Western Oregon, a draw against Seattle Pacific, and a loss against Northwest Nazarene. Vikings unable to collect the seconds there. But now they do head it back and away. Wow steps in, takes into the midfield. He's got Hakamata near side, but he leaves it for Caden Wall, and the Vikings will build from the back. Silvetti launches it long near side over the head of Hakamata. It's going to be tough for the Vikings to get good connection on really anything today. We already saw a couple of opportunities that have been sent wide from close range that the ball is slippery. It's going to be tough to get good contact, as that one popped up and hit the arm of Aiden Fernandez. Handball against him. Free kick, Yellow Jackets. The Vikings, you got to say, their schedule up to this point in GNAC play has been a really frustrating one. You've got perhaps the toughest matchup of the season on the road against a ranked Western Oregon squad, which is currently looking to run away with the GNAC regular season title. Last year was a two-team race between SFU and Western Oregon that the Red Leafs ended up on top in, but Western Oregon has not slowed down. Simon Fraser have been off to a really rocky start to 2024. But they had that 1-0 loss in Monmouth, a game which they had a shot in. They could have come out with a result, just weren't able to get it done against a really quality side in the Western Oregon Wolves. As MSUB put this one into the box, headed away by Tidblom. Still now on the near wing with Florian Senf, who dribbles infield to the top of the box, has a shot saved and held by Charlie Dyer. That'll go down as the first save of the match for Dyer, although he has had a couple of good claims. Certainly has not been without action in Western Washington's net. Vikings, after that Western Oregon loss, had to go on the road against Seattle Pacific and actually fought for a good 2-2 draw. And then a frustrating 2-1 loss against Northwest Nazarene, as I mentioned, a game where the Vikings had the lion's share of the opportunities and were just beaten by a perfectly played counterattacking tactic. Currently sit sixth in the GNAC table. Preseason poll had the Vikings in third. Of course, the tough part of their schedule, the opening part of their schedule, so perhaps able to hit their stride after a 7-goal output against SMU. One of the highest scoring games in program history, the highest scoring since the Vikings scored 7 against Northwest Nazarene in 2011, over a decade since the Vikings had put up a 7 spot. Tidblom doing battle on the near side with Senf, 21 against 21. And winning that duel is going to be Joar Tidblom. Comes out with the Vikings, but it's taken right back by the Yellow Jackets. Gonzalez lifts it ahead, looking for Fedkenhauer, and he's not going to be able to win the foot race with the ball to the end line. Goal kick, Western Washington. MSUB, a team that started off their first game this season, a 3-0 win against Sul Ross State University. Got a draw against Texas International, and I mentioned that 2-2 draw against a Fort Lewis side was ranked 9th in the nation at the time. Silvetti collects that one and gives it away. To the feet of Fedkenhauer. Tried to work it through, but the pass was deflected. Gonzalez, good pass ahead, one-on-one, heavy touch. It was Rene Tello, who would have been alone against Charlie Dyer, but it slipped off his foot on a really good pass ahead by the co-captain, Fedkenhauer. That 2-2 draw with Fort Lewis College, you'd think that'd be a proud result, but MSUB is certainly frustrated with that one. That's a game where they led 2-0 with just a minute and a half remaining, conceded 2 in the space of a minute, ended up drawing 2-2. Could have been a marquee victory. Ends up as a marquee draw, but frustrating nonetheless. MSUB started that GNAC slate with a 2-0 win against Simon Fraser at home. An upset win and a good start to their GNAC life in 2024, but since then, they've had it a little tough, losing 3-1 to Western Oregon at home and drawing with Northwest Nazarene on Thursday, but they did pick up the 5-0 win against St. Martin's at home as Tidblom clears that cross away. Janssen goes down, advantage is going to be played, and now, it looked like Jalo Bubakar was about to stop play, but decided to keep advantage going. Vikings still haven't been able to make good on that advantage, as that one is just cleared in time by Arlo Follett, the freshman out of Salida, California, in the center back role right now, charged with marking Eric Bunnell. Florian Senf. Senf tried to feed it through to Isaac Perez, taken away by Hakamata, who looks to spring the counterattack himself, goes down. He's told to get up by Bubakar. Albin Janssen steps in with an interception, plays it ahead to Bunnell. Bunnell on the near corner to Hakamata, into the middle on the deck. Janssen's alone in the middle now. Bunnell has it, takes it down on a touch. 2 white shirts ahead of him, threads it through, but it's saved by Ryder. Ended up right at the Yellow Jacket goalkeeper. A good move by the Vikings off of an Albin Janssen interception. And it looked like they had the numbers in the box. It was a good ball by Hakamata. Janssen couldn't find it under his feet initially, popped out to Bunnell. It was impressive that Bunnell was able to get it past the defense, but right at Ryder. Vikings putting up 12 shots per game in 2024. Top half of the GNAC in that stat. Bunnell puts it into the middle, popped up, back out. Taken down by Quao, the goal scorer. His pass is intercepted on a slide by, I believe, Rene Tello. And out for a Yellow Jacket throw-in near midfield. MSUB, a team that, despite having one of the better defenses in the GNAC, are actually being outshot game to game. But they have one of the most consistent defenses in the current run in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. Coming into this game, they had posted a couple of consecutive shutouts. They had a shutout streak of over 200 minutes before conceding that penalty that Quao Serrano buried. First goal they've conceded in a couple of weeks, going back to that 3-1 loss against Western Oregon. Credit to this defense and to Jack Ryder, the freshman goalkeeper, who's kept a clean sheet in all but one of his GNAC games that he's played in his debut season. And no shame in giving up a couple goals against a Western Oregon team which has really established themselves over the last couple of years. Good ball into Sundberg. Touches it past the defender, is on the far wing. Into the middle. Pass Fernandez, Bunnell has a chance, cuts it back around the defender and scores! 2-1 Vikings! Beautifully taken by Eric Bunnell. He has the presence of mind to fake the shot, cut around the defender, and he makes no mistake from 6 yards out. The goal-scoring output continues here at Harrington Field. Vikings are not letting the rain dampen their spirits. 2-1 Western Washington. 24 minutes remaining in the first half. Bunnell's third tally of 2024. The senior striker who thrives in those box-in-the-box situations. Can't give him too many opportunities from 6 yards out before he puts one in the back of the net. Vikings let up a goal just a minute and a half into this one. What a bounce back for them. First time in 2024 that they have come back in a game that they've trailed in and taken the lead. And the substitution for MSUB is going to be Zach Browning on for Jackson Hanley. Browning, the junior out of Ogden, Utah, coming off a season at Tacoma Community College where he was very successful in front of goal. He had 8 tallies and was an NWAC all-conference honorable mention. Returning to that same state of Washington here at Harrington Field, where he had so much success at the JUCO level. A lot of JUCO NWAC products in the GNAC. Aiden Fernandez among them, the Whatcom Community College transfer, who has been involved throughout this game, as well as scoring last time out at Harrington Field. MSUB, who are currently without their top leading scorer on the pitch at least, So Nagano. They've still found a way through the Viking defense on a couple of occasions. Probably unhappy to only have the 1 goal up on the board. They feed it through far side for the substitute Browning. His cross is blocked out by Krupel Tesfaye, and that'll be a corner kick. Tesfaye, a player who picked up his first collegiate goal in that SMU win. He now has a goal and an assist on the season. That goal ended up being the game winner. It was the 3rd tally of the 7-2 win. MSUB setting up for a corner kick here. It'll be an outswinger. Sent to the top of the 6-yard box. Player goes down, no whistle. Headed up, still in the box. Penalty, or excuse me, a bicycle kick attempted by Renee Tello. As Dyer is able to watch that one go over the crossbar. It was a admirable effort from Tello as the Vikings are going to make their first substitutions of the match. It is going to be the freshman phenom Riley Burai Brown, who is averaging an assist every 120 minutes of action in 2024. That's the best assist to minute ratio on the team. He's got 3 on the season. The Seaholm High School graduate. He'll be joined by Andrew Roeder, who scored a brace against St. Martin's in the span of 1 minute. And Fukai Imamura, the junior college transfer, who has gotten some spot starts in his debut Western Washington campaign in 2024. Imamura out of Osaka, Japan. MSUB build down the right side, play it infield for Browning. Blocked away by Silvetti as he tried to go direct, headed away by Tidblom. MSUB still in the attacking third. Good spell of possession for the Yellow Jackets. That one taken down by Tello. And Roeder, his first touches of the match, that one's a little too heavy. Gonzalez. Senf has had success down this left wing. That time, though, tried to go inverted inside, and Silvetti shut it down. As the wind once again picks up. The flags out by midfield, just plastered out. The only benefit of the weather right now in Western Washington is that it's not too cold. Hovering around 60 degrees would be nigh unbearable if it were also a chilly day. But the players, fans, and staff able to make do through the first 25 minutes of this one. An exciting first 25 minutes, 3 goals in it. It's been the most eventful 25 minutes the Western Washington Viking men have played at Harrington in 2024. This is a team that plays a lot of slow build-up, low-scoring games. Not really an option in these conditions. A team that's used to controlling possession, controlling the shot chart, and hoping that that leads to victory. They've seen a lot of success here at Harrington. One of the great fortresses of D2 soccer, both on the men's and women's side. Davis Boogman, the substitute, Bogman, the freshman and Billings native. Aiden Fernandez at midfield, lays it off to Caden Wall. Forward now to Roeder. Roeder tries to lift it ahead. In the corner now for the Vikings. It will be a Western Washington throw. Imamura, his first attacking touches of the match. Gives it off to Hakamada down the wing at the corner flag. Earns a throw in. Make that a corner kick that he'll earn. Well played by the senior co-captain Lucas Hakamada, the engine of this Vikings team. So it'll be a near side corner kick for Western Washington. Caden Wall over to take. Almost every single black shirt in the box. Top of the box, one away by MSUB. Joar Tidblom unable to win that duel. You talk about a complete team effort. Give a shout out to Western Washington Director of Athletics, Jim Sturk. He's up here at the broadcast booth trying to keep everything in order. All hands on deck here today. WWU cheer in attendance. They haven't had to work too hard to keep the spirits high. The fans who are here are boisterous. Substitution for MSUB. It will be the Yellow Jackets' leading scorer in 2024, So Nagano. He's got 5 tallies this season and has scored thrice in GNAC play. He had 3 consecutive GNAC games with a goal before being shut down against NNU in that 0-0 draw. Also scored on his Yellow Jacket debut in a game against Carroll College and in that game against Fort Lewis. Yellow Jackets have not spread out their scoring nearly as much as the Vikings, who have, I believe, 10 players who have tallied a goal in 2024. As Bunnell tries to break through a couple. That'll take a touch off the hand of Andrew Roeder. Fernandez dribbling ahead. Denied by a tackle. Still with the Vikings. Far side, Burai Brown. Burai Brown just playing less than a mile away from where he played high school ball at Seaholm High School. Conditions that he is not unfamiliar with. See if that familiarity can grant the Vikings some insurance as they already lead 2-1. Threaded through between the lines for Fernandez. Fernandez goes down. Advantage is played. Bunnell, far side for Burai Brown. Ball into the middle. Bunnell was chasing, but it was cleared away. Imamura, near side Hakamada. Inside for Roeder. Vikings looking to build something here. Bunnell has some space at the top. Lays it off for Burai Brown. Defenders come to the aid there at the far end of the box, are able to shut down that attack that was building. It was good interchange. MSUB trying to do the same with the long ball the other way, but Nagano loses the physical duel with Silvetti. One of the toughest players to win those physical duels with in the GNAC. 6'5", Sebastiano Silvetti, strong and fast as well. Part of what makes him one of the better defenders in the conference, an all-conference selection last year. As a redshirt freshman, now as a redshirt sophomore. Lucas Hakamada looking ahead, playing it to Wall as Ryder's going to come out at the edge of his box to claim. Play has slowed down a little bit after a opening 2 minutes, which gave us chance after chance, goal after goal. Looks like the teams have settled into it a little bit. It's not that the weather has gotten better, perhaps just getting accustomed to it. 15 minutes and change left in the first 45. MSU be the first year under their new head coach, Paul Cuevas, after the departure of Aaron Champenoy, their previous head coach. Cuevas, who has served as an assistant for the last few years for MSUB. That was a head coaching change that also led to 14 players leaving, make that 16 players. 14 of their 19 goal scorers from last year no longer on the roster, but they've still built something here, as Nagano is just below that one. It was a good ball in. Dyer had to go behind the striker to claim it, but it was well judged by Charlie Dyer. Impressive stuff under a first-year head coach and a fresh roster with a lot of debutants to pick up the results they have, beating Simon Fraser, drawing against Fort Lewis in a game they deserve to win, as well as beating St. Martin's 5-0. To be fair, a St. Martin's side which has just had a frankly dreadful start to 2024, winless through 11, conceding 5 goals per game. Vikings and Yellow Jackets both the beneficiaries of the Saints' poor form this year. It's going to be a free kick just beyond midfield for MSUB, and in these conditions, they're just going to put it into the box, it looks like, and depend on the fact that this is a tough time to defend. Delivery from Gonzalez, scored from the spot, puts that one back into the box, headed away by the Vikings. Joar Tidblom, who's been so good in the air this year, wins another header and wins the foul as well. Cuevas said coming into this campaign that their standards are still high despite the fact that it's his first year, and it's hard to know exactly what to expect from such a fresh roster, but Cuevas knew he expected success, and relatively they've certainly seen it. It was a 2023 campaign for MSUB where they went 5-8-3, ended up last place in the GNAC, only won 2 games and had 2 draws in conference play. They did pick up a win against Simon Fraser. They've been a thorn in the side of perennial GNAC favorites Simon Fraser over the last couple of years, picking up a couple of upset wins. The Vikings taking on MSUB today, and on Thursday, a big rivalry night matchup against Seattle Pacific. Vikings running out of time to really challenge towards the top of the GNAC table with the form that Western Oregon has had. They need to go on a hot streak right now. And it's good to see them find their goal-scoring boots over this game and the last, as we're going to see a whole host of changes out there. Diego Alvarado's, and Lucas Whithauer and Lopez entering the pitch for Western Washington. And for MSUB, it's going to be their captain and returning second-team All-GNAC player Kolya Thomas checking back in. Thomas, who has been on limited minutes in 2024, made his debut in 2024 against Western Oregon after such a successful 2023 campaign. And he actually picked up a goal in just over 20 minutes in his longest appearance this season. That was against St. Martin's. Played 15 minutes against NNU, was kept off the score sheet. Fukai Imamura sends it long, headed down. One on the second ball by Andrew Roeder, lays it off to Quao. Far side, Burai Brown. Checking in for an early cross. The delivery is good to the top of the sixth, just over the head of Diego Alvarado. Chasing after it to keep it in bounds is the pacey sophomore redshirt freshman Whithauer, who is going to earn a corner kick. Whithauer, who picked up his first collegiate assist against St. Martin's on the last goal of that matchup, just 30 seconds left in it, to Andrew Roeder. Whithauer, a burst of pace down that right wing. Just getting settled into this Greg Brisbane-led Vikings setup. Near side corner kick for the Vikings. Launched in, goes to the near post on the ground, takes a pop-up off the chest of the defender. Hakamada gathers, gets it back to Burai Brown into the box, headed on goal by Bunnell, but it ends up just wide right. So Burai Brown, it looks like, will take over at least part of the set-piece duties with Caden Wall off the pitch. We've also seen Quao Serrano take charge from dead ball situations pretty often this year and last. Serrano, the Mount Vernon native, Division I transfer, and previous Seattle Sounders Academy graduate. Played for, or signed for Northern Illinois at the D1 level, but did not play his only season. Returning with 4 years of eligibility to his home state last year, and ended up being one of the most dynamic midfield players in the conference. Looking to build on that in 2024. Already has a goal today from the spot, as well as having one last week from the spot against SMU to go along with a couple of assists. Player can do a little bit of everything. One of the more technically gifted players on this Vikings squad. Dyer lays it off for Silvetti. Seba looks ahead. Cross midfield, flicked on by Bunnell. Sent out of bounds. The safe play made by George Jones, the all-GNAC player from 2023. Jones out of Broughton, England, a highly international MSUB squad, as we're used to seeing from Montana State University Billings, an athletics department which does very well to bring in international talent. As a foul is going to be committed against MSUB, so it will be a Yellow Jacket free kick in their own defensive third. Stops the Vikings building up an attack. Under 9 minutes left in the half. MSUB in that last game against Northwest Nazarene, that's a game that they'll want back. It's similar looks that we saw against NNU here at Harrington Field a week ago, where MSUB outshot Northwest Nazarene, but weren't able to produce offensively enough to pick up a result, or at least a win. As we're going to see another young Viking enter the field. Hunter Milbrode is going to replace Eric Bunnell. Milbrode, the first-year player who picked up his first collegiate assist in that SMU game. Also finding Andrew Roeder late in the match. Milbrode coming off a successful career at Central Kitsap High School. 6'2" defender. Whithauer has space on the near side, but it's not going to get all the way to him. Alvarado heads it down back to Whithauer. Flicked on off the shoulder of Milbrode. No handball, high enough up the arm, but in the end it doesn't matter as it goes to the defensive half, and Fukai Imamura commits a foul going over the back of his countryman, So Nagano. Nagano out of Kobe, Japan. Fukai Imamura out of Osaka. Free kick's taken quickly, straight at Charlie Dyer, and it looks like not even MSUB was ready on that quick free kick routine, and the delivery wasn't the best as Dyer didn't have to move to get to it. Took it at the chest with no challenge. Rolls it out as the Vikings, as they often do, are going to build out from the back. Imamura up towards Milbrode. Heavy first touch, out of bounds, MSUB throw-in. Change is coming for the visitors. It's going to be Roddy Lewis, a midfield junior out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. He's going to replace Bjarne Fedkenhauer. Fedkenhauer had a good chance in this one that he sent over the bar from not too far out, around 6 yards out. Fedkenhauer, the co-captain, will go to the bench to finish off this first half. Frogman. His through ball ends up out of bounds. Throw in Vikings. So Bunnell off the pitch after scoring what stands right now as what would be the game-winning goal, but we got a lot of soccer left to play here, and perhaps some more sloppy soccer in this wet conditioned Harrington Field. No discredit to the players out here. These are conditions that can make the best in the world produce some sloppy plays. The rain has perhaps slowed up a little bit, not coming down as hard, but still coming down and coming down sideways. The wind has not let up even a bit. Silvetti off for Quao. Quao just lumps it ahead. Roeder trying to use his pace to get there before Colya Thomas. He's able to get there just a second after Colya Thomas and commits a foul. 5 minutes left in the half. These are two teams which have played solid enough defense for their goalkeepers to work very little. Dyer and Ryder, the two starting goalkeepers, have two of the lowest save per game numbers in the GNAC, and not because of low quality play, but just because it's tough to get through this midfield and defense for both of these sides and get a shot on goal. Serrano launches it ahead. Roeder applying the pressure, and Ryder right at the edge of the area is going to claim and toss it back out. As Fukayama Mura there getting too handsy, a shove in the side. And he's going to get a talking to from Jallo Boubacar. We'll see if it's just a talking to or a yellow card. It looks like it'll just be a conversation. And credit to head referee Boubacar for not being too quick to brandish yellow cards in this match and just making sure the players understand what's going to fly and what isn't going to fly in his game today. Colya Thomas now with the captain's armband as Fedgenhauer went to the bench. They played all the way back to Ryder. Goalkeeper plays it well at the feet in these conditions and gets it up towards midfield. Diego Lopez, the transfer junior. Also an NWAC product. His first year as a Viking, playing in that right fullback role. Plays a little bit more reserved, defensively minded in that right back role. Players like Lucas Whithauer and Lucas Hakamada ahead of him, providing the attack down the wing as Hunter Milbrodt gets a shoulder in the back. And he'll be tended to. Boubacar checking on him. We had a really good view of that one. It was definitely a tough shot that he took going up for that with two white shirts right next to him. Shoulder straight in the back, maybe knock the air out of him, but he'll get back to his feet. Clock ticking down to 3 minutes. Diego Alvarado will make way on this free kick. It looks like it's going to be Sebastiano Silvetti, the big right foot to try to put it into the danger area. Silvetti gets into it. Good delivery, but headed away. Serrano tried to get it to Alvarado, but it skipped by his left shoulder. Took a high bounce on him. Yellow Jackets throw. That through ball is too far for Sonagano to threaten as Silvetti calmly plays it back. Second ball won by MSUB and now out for their throw-in. Credit to the Vikings, who have done a really good job of shutting down the Yellow Jackets, who had a boatload of opportunities early on in this match, and of course converting from the penalty spot. Western Washington defensive line has settled into the conditions, denied a lot of balls over the top, and won their one-on-one duels. As right there, once again, Vikings are going to come out with a successful defensive stand. Quao Serrano, certainly a tough shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, but a clean one. MSUB throw. A long throwing routine here for the Yellow Jackets. They do eventually get it in. Immediately won away by Quao over the head of Sonagano. The pass ahead doesn't go anywhere. MSUB trying to end this first half on the right foot. Try not to go into the half trailing. Vikings, a team who are yet to win a game this year in which they've conceded the first goal of the match. They put themselves in a good spot right now as Riley Burai Brown goes down, no whistle. Jello Bubakar is letting these teams play right now. Trying to thread it through is Davis Bogman, but unable to do so there. Vikings maybe with one last look at goal. Lucas Whithauer outpacing Guillermo Gonzalez into the middle, left by Milbrodt, and now deflected out. It's going to be a goal kick. 30 seconds left. That might be the last action of the half. Fred Ryder racing to get this one out in a hurry. Maybe give one last chance to the visitors. He'll put this as far up the field as he can. And a strong right foot on Ryder. But the header is won by the Vikings, and second ball goes out of bounds, and Western Washington in no hurry here. That is going to tick down the seconds here in the first half. Well, these teams are putting on a show in the wind and the rain. 2 penalty kicks in the first 5 minutes, one converted by Guillermo Gonzalez, one converted by Quao Serrano, and then Eric Bunnell finishing off in the box to give the Vikings a 2-1 lead through 45 minutes here. We will return here on Viking TV for the second half of action in just about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Both clubs are fundraising today, so stop by their table.
Welcome back to beautiful Bellingham, Harrington Field here, where we saw an exciting first 45 minutes between Western Washington University and Montana State University Billings. Some early goal scoring. Just a minute into the match, Guillermo Gonzalez converting a penalty kick. And just a minute later, Quao Serrano on the other end converting a penalty kick of his own. His second straight match with a goal from the spot. Made it 1-1. And then 20 minutes into the match, Eric Bunnell, off of a Jacob Sundberg cross assist, slots it in from 6 yards away, his third goal of the season. And he makes it 2-1, and that's where we stand right now after 45 minutes. It was a first half that started off hot with those 3 goals, but slowed down as the half went on. And we saw the rain slow down a little bit during the halftime break, but as soon as the players came out of the locker room for the second 45 minutes, the rain started to come back down, and it is coming down in force. We're going to see it throughout this last 45, I believe. As far as the stats go for the first 45 minutes, MSUB leading the shot total 10-6, and Charlie Dyer making the most saves of either of the goalkeepers. He made 3 stops to Fred Reiter's 2. Corner kicks even at 2 apiece, and both of these teams committing 9 fouls. So it was a game in which MSUB had the most chances for the first 45 minutes. Vikings able to convert from open play, which is something the Yellow Jackets were unable to do. They had a couple of good chances from open play. Bjarne Fedkenhauer had a chance from around 6 yards out on a far post cross that he put over the bar. Fedkenhauer also dribbling in, denied by a quick reaction by Charlie Dyer. Dyer has had a good first 45 minutes. This is not the kind of conditions that are pro goalkeeper, but he's done well to adjust, only conceding from the spot on a penalty that sent him the wrong way from Guillermo Gonzalez. Gonzalez's second goal of 2024. As set to kick things off here is the captain, Bjarne Fedkenhauer. I'm Adam Race, your voice of Vikings soccer. So happy to be with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Vikings TV. Second 45 underway in just a second once the whistle is blown by head referee Jallo Boubacar, and we are underway. MSUB in the white jerseys. They'll be attacking from left to right in the second 45. Vikings in the black, going from right to left on your screen. As the Yellow Jackets looking to make another quick start. Gonzalez, a long-distance strike that gave Dyer something to think about, just wide right of that far post. A good effort from Gonzalez, who wanted to double his tally on the day. Unable to on that occasion. It was a good effort from 25, 30 yards out. Rolled out by Dyer. Played across the box. Center back to center back. Fukai Imamura, the first-year junior college transfer, staying out there for the second half. Center back pairing alongside Sebastiano Silvetti. Diego Alvarado, also a first-half substitute. He's going to draw a foul and a little bit of afters between Riley Burai Brown, the freshman, stepping up for his senior teammate Diego Alvarado. After a tough challenge in transition, no card issued by Jallo Boubacar, who has on a few occasions stopped the clock, as we're seeing here, to have a conversation with the players, but has been very slow to go to the pocketbook, has not brought a card out yet. It's good game management from today's head referee. As the Vikings have a free kick here just beyond midfield, it will be Imamura to send it in, whips it to the head of Albin Janssen, lays it off for Alvarado, who tries to flick on net. Didn't get any power on that, though, and it's cleared away before it got to Fred Reiter. And a foul in transition the other way, committed against Sonagano, the 5-goal man for MSUB, who currently leads them in goal scoring. His first year playing for Billings. As it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here at the field. The scoreboard at Harrington Field going off for a second. I don't know if I've seen that before. Not extremely surprised here in these conditions. It has now come back on. It's my third year calling Viking athletics out here at Harrington Field, and this is easily the worst that it has been, especially considering that this is not only just a one-game day, this is a doubleheader day. Jackson Hanley dribbles across midfield, lays it off to Fedkenhauer. Back to Hanley. MSUB are going to be unsuccessful with that build-up as the ball from Isaac Perez ended up out of bounds. This is a callback to what we saw on men's soccer senior night last year. The Vikings picking up a really good win against a ranked Simon Fraser squad 2-1 on senior night. That was a game that was just doused in rain, pouring down all 90 minutes, and Vikings TV actually unable to cope with it at that time, losing the last 15 minutes of that match. As that one is fed through to Albin Janssen. Takes a touch off the defender, Kolya Thomas. And it's going to be a Vikings throw-in. Over there to take the throw is the redshirt freshman, Lucas Whithauer. A step over from Alvarado. Gives it back to Whithauer. Sends in an early cross. Popped up in the air. Burai Brown, 3 assists on the season. First half sub. Stays on for the second half here. A number of the changes that head coach Greg Brisbane made in the first half have stayed through here to the start of the second. Imamura, Diego Lopez on the right back position. Caden Wall has re-entered the pitch, the Vikings senior dead ball specialist. And Albin Janssen out on the field. He drew the penalty with which Quao Serrano was able to convert just a couple minutes into the match to make it 1-1. As a backheel flick from Lucas Whithauer, that's going to end up at the feet of Janssen for a second. Charging in as Quao, first time opportunity was blocked. And excuse me, it's going to be called as a goal kick. I thought it took a touch off of Guillermo Gonzalez, who did well to get in front of what ended up being a rocket off the right foot of Quao Serrano. And you know that he can put those away from that distance. He has been good for a few screamers in his short WWU career. That time, just not able to direct it on frame. Best chance of the second half so far for the Vikings right there. Popped up by Isaac Perez. Header that time won by Diego Lopez. Lopez collects the seconds. And that one is going to go all the way through for Charlie Dyer to collect beyond the on-rushing attacker, So Nagano. Nagano out of Kobe, Japan, coming off a successful year at Coastal Bend College at JUCO. And Nagano immediately getting minutes as a Yellow Jacket, immediately producing on those minutes with the 5 goals he's scored in his debut. Janssen unable to hold off his defender. So it's won by MSUB, but given right back at the midfield, intercepted by Quao. Whithauer has Janssen ahead of him. Opts to go long into the middle, but nobody made the run. Easy claim for Ryder. Shots are still at 10-6 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Roeder. Nice move by Diego Alvarado. Pop it up over the defender, Guillermo Gonzalez, outside of the boot. Long ball. It gave Lucas Whithauer a chance at it, but he's going to be fended off the ball. Out for a goal kick. It's a really good effort by Alvarado. Strike that with the laces. That long diagonal ball, such a threat for a Vikings team with an excess of pacey wingers, Whithauer amongst them. Albin Janssen, who started this season a more wide role, but we're seeing him slot in more centrally over the last few contests. He has had a very successful 2024, back on the goal-scoring sheet and leading the Vikings in points right now, and being rewarded by Greg Brisbane by being moved back to what I assume he believes to be his natural position as a more central striker. That's the position that he played his first couple seasons for WWU, seasons in which he led them in scoring both years and picked up some All-West Region nods. GNAC Freshman of the Year in 2022. Brought down a little bit of a heavy first touch by Whithauer. Stays with the Vikings. Wall. Burai Brown. Back to Imamura. Imamura looking long and sending it there. Burai Brown and Alvarado both in chase, but the defender George Jones, the all-GNAC defender, just seeing that one out for a goal kick. So good for an MSUB team that lost a lot of their attacking talent from 2023 after a head coaching change. 11 of their goal scorers from last year no longer with the program, but they're able to retain that defensive talent. Players like Jones, players like Kolya Thomas. And it has paid off as they've been a defensively successful team, one of the best in the GNAC this season, conceding just 1.3 per game. Burai Brown wins it away shoulder to shoulder with Jackson Hanley and plays it around Hanley inbounds. Well done by Burai Brown. Wow, spinning away from a tackle. He gets it on a 1-2 from Alvarado. Back to Wall. Some quality play right now from Western Washington, working it around the midfield, looking for a way through. It won't get through that time. Jones wins the header. Alvarado was waiting if it got by. MSUB sitting third in the GNAC table. Vikings sitting in fifth. If these results stand, that will be a shift. Vikings will move up towards the top half of the GNAC table. The GNAC table, which is looking very pro-Western Oregon right now. An undefeated Wolves team, just their third year of existence. Alvarado goes down on the foul by Guillermo Gonzalez. Gonzalez unhappy with the call from Jallo Boubacar. Wall. Long diagonal ball, looking for Whithauer. Off an MSUB head and out for a Vikings throw. Vikings 4 home games remaining after this one. Seattle Pacific on Thursday. And then they'll have St. Martin's and Simon Fraser, and then finish the season against Western Oregon, senior night on November 14th, trying to make good on their home advantage. That win against SMU last week, that was their first away win of 2024. They did it in resounding fashion, 7-2. Burai Brown slides in cleanly, sends it out for a throw, and it looks like he got a lot of Jackson Hanley. Looks a bit worse for wear. You could just hear Burai Brown skidding on the waterlogged pitch. He got enough ball for Jallo Boubacar to call that a fair challenge, but Hanley got the worst of it. Still down on the pitch here, right by the touchline. Might be seeing him come off with an injury substitution. Of course, NCAA rules, unlike professional soccer rules, you got unlimited substitutions. Players can sub in and out. Go along with, of course, the non-running clock. As some smooth jazz rolls over the crowd here at Harrington Field from the loudspeakers as we have a break in play. Getting set to come on for Jackson Hanley. Looks like it's going to be Florian Senf. Senf, who had a successful start to this match, causing a lot of trouble down the left wing for Western Washington, as Hanley now does limp off the field. Hopefully he is all right. Senf, the freshman out of Rheinblick, Germany, who has been producing for MSUB in GNAC play. He has a goal and 2 assists. So that one is launched up towards us and out. Popped up off the throw-in. Header won by Burai Brown. Serrano, nifty back heel touch, but can't find the feet of Andrew Roeder on it. Free kick MSUB after a little bit too much pushing and shoving from Burai Brown, trying to win the ball back. No argument from the freshman. Burai Brown, who is part of a dynasty in men's soccer over at Seaholm High School down the road. The Mariners, who one of the best teams in the state, playing in the state championship game last year with Burai Brown as their captain. And He has immediately translated that leadership and maturity to Division II level. You saw in preseason and in early season non-conference matchups that he does not play like a player who's making his debut at this level. MSUB, they have a long shot that goes wide right. It was So Nagano who let fly from 25 yards there. Was not rewarded with a shot on goal. Dyer lays it off for his reliable center back, Sebastiano Silvetti, but his pass ahead is given away on a hard touch by Lucas Withauer. Fukai Imamura cuts that one out. Just taking a stab at it that time was Guillermo Gonzalez. No threat. As looks like a non-purposeful backheel there from Caden Wall, but it works out the same. Vikings recoup for a second, but the long ball is unsuccessful. Albin Janssen applying the press. Ball played out of the back by the goalkeeper, Ryder, and out of bounds. Skipped past his intended target, Jones. Vikings are going to have a throw-in down to that far corner. Throw-in taken by Burai Brown to the feet of Janssen. Janssen cuts inside. 3 white shirts around him. Can't maintain possession. Silvetti launches it long, as that one is going to skip not too far wide of that right post, as took a high hop over the head of Ryder, who seemed very confident that it was going wide. Silvetti, a player who got on the goal scorer's sheet for the second time in his collegiate career last week, off of a set piece. It was a Quaserano corner as Janssen has a chance to use the pace here. Takes a heavy first touch. It's going to be too heavy off the knee of Janssen. That's exactly the spot where the Vikings love to use the speed of Albin Janssen. A quick break, catch the opposition off guard. There is not a player in this conference who can beat Albin Janssen in a foot race. Not one that I've seen. When he gets in those spots, it's just so tough to defend, but slick conditions and unable to bring the ball down cleanly enough. MSUB now the other way. Working it into the middle. Just touched off the foot of Florian Senf, and Dyer out to claim. It's a quick start to this second half, but has slowed down a little bit here. Both teams trying to find their way into some opportunities. Shots are still at just 6-11. Thrown long by Diego Lopez, a player who has shown his ability towards the long throw, which is a unique and very useful trait to have in soccer. It's something that you don't often scout for and you don't often train for either, but the ability to huck a throw in like a corner kick can be very useful. We've seen the Vikings use it at length with Diego Lopez out on the field. Just able to strong arm it in there. Perhaps a lot more difficult with a wet soccer ball like today. This one thrown ahead and headed down by Burai Brown. Diego Alvarado goes down on a challenge in the back from Guillermo Gonzalez, earns the free kick, stops the MSUB build-up. Gonzalez incensed right now with the referee. Jallo Boubacar, though, keeping his cool as we are under 30 minutes remaining here in the last 45 of the match. Vikings still holding on to the lead provided by Eric Bunnell. Flicked on by Withauer towards Janssen. Janssen just able to keep it in bounds, but it's taken away. And a neat touch down the line gives MSUB a chance to break here. Senf racing down the far touchline, now shoulder to shoulder with Janssen. Senf is the victim of a beautiful slide from Janssen. We've seen him shift back into a more defensive role over the last year or so, and some of that experience paying off right there, as that was a perfectly timed and executed slide. And it pays off because the throw-in went right to Diego Lopez, who's able to clear it further away. Roeder heavy touch. Taken down, though, by Quao. Nice one-touch work here by the Vikings to get it up towards midfield. Now with MSUB and Jones, and now Perez. Perez takes it himself across the midway stripe. Pass intercepted by Wall. Finds Roeder through a sea of bodies. Trying to loop it through for Janssen. It's going to get there. He's got Alvarado in the middle. Janssen back to goal now. Looks for his options. Slowing play down. Taking a couple hits in the back of the leg. Still in bounds for the Vikings. They do send it in. Wall was the target. Jones won the aerial duel, though. And it's cleared away by Bjarne Fedkenhauer. And the Vikings win it right back with a throw-in on the near corner on the attacking side here. Uri Brown throws it into Alvarado, back by the corner flag. Tries to get past the defender, can't do so. Second ball pops out to Quao. Looping ball into the middle. Whithauer just a step behind it. It's a good idea by Quao Serrano on a ball that required just perfect placement, and it was just a little bit beyond Whithauer in the end. Jack Jarrett, who started this match, he comes onto the pitch. Headed away by Perez and lumped long by Rene Tello. Right back the other way by Lopez. Flick towards Andrew Roeder. Out of bounds, MSUB with the throw. Foul committed there. Too much hands used by Lucas Whithauer. I thought coming into this game, it's two teams that play very similarly. Hard-nosed, effective defense, and the ability to break out for a number of goals when they get hot. The weather seemed to be the great equalizer through the first 15 minutes, but as the players and the squads have settled into this one, it's more what I've been expecting out of this match, which is a hard-nosed back-and-forth defensive battle. It's going to come down to who can convert, but the Vikings, of course, with that 2-1 lead already, as Whithauer has a shot from distance parried away. Ryder did just enough right there to deny Whithauer. Earns a corner kick, though. As we're going to see a trio of subs for Western Washington. It'll be the co-captain Lucas Hakamada, senior Jacob Sundberg, and the goal scorer Eric Bunnell coming back in. Riley Buri Brown, Lucas Whithauer, and Andrew Roeder will go to the bench. So a couple of younger players on this team, and the experienced Andrew Roeder will go to the bench here with 26 minutes remaining. Vikings have a corner kick at the near side. As the whistle blew right before that one was taken, as there was pushing and shoving in the box, you could see the players calling for the referee's attention. He's just going to talk things out, make them retake the corner. I believe it is Quao over on that corner. He's going to be hitting an in-swinging ball here. Vikings gathered at the far post as a shove puts a Viking player on the ground nearby that far post. Bunnell was put on his backside, and he might have gotten a bit of the bar as he went down. Clock is stopped at 25:08, and directly after the referee pleads with the players to calm down in the scrum to get position. Bunnell takes a shot and goes down. You could see the post vibrating as he did go down. Hopefully, Bunnell no worse for wear. Looks to be a little bit shaken up. Bunnell, of course, one of the main targets for this corner kick routine, a big target man. He is back up to his feet. Looks to be holding that left arm in a bit of pain. But he will play on, just taken on to the pitch. As Bunnell still in a physical battle as the ball goes on the ground at the near post. It was intended for Bunnell, but reacting first was Jack Jarrett, the substitute. As Bunnell is going to get a little too much of that ball, it's going to go for a goal kick because he couldn't do enough to keep it in bounds. Goal kick was taken quickly, but we're going to have some substitutions before that. It will be for the visitors.
Now entering for Montana State Billings, number 34, Arlo Follett.
It is Arlo Follett. Started this match, the freshman of Salida, Colorado origin. Jared, part of this mission by first-year head coach Paul Cuevas to rebuild a team that lost the majority of its starters from last season. Bunnell brings it down, has a shot from just outside the box, and it's controlled by Ryder. Could see Bunnell using the strength to make space to even get a shot off there. It was going to be a tough position to trouble Ryder and ends up right at the goalkeeper. Makes his 5th save of the match. Bunnell is pressing up on Ryder, and he just got that pass off in time. Something you'd love to see right now from Western Washington, the fact that just about half of their shots have been on goal. That's been a problem for them this year. They've got the most shots per game in the conference, but not nearly enough of them have gone on target. In fact, the current worst shot to goal ratio in the GNAC, they're looking at 9 shots for every goal. And if they can improve that conversion combined with a top 3 defense in the conference, then they are a team to be respected. Already coming into this season with the respect of a 3rd place vote in the preseason poll. Heavy touch by the captain Fedkenhauer, and going down after the play is a Viking. Whistle goes, free kick. It was Bunnell once again on the wrong end of a shove. And you come into this one, these are the 2 teams in the GNAC who commit the most fouls. They are not afraid to play physical, and we have seen that in this game. It's been well managed by head referee Jallo Bubakar, who has yet to brandish a card despite the physical play. Quao Serrano trying to curl this one in with the right foot, put it on the head of a Bunnell or a Silvetti. Making the short run is Diego Alvarado, but it does go to the top of the 6. That one's going to end up too close to Ryder, comfortably claims. Too much bend on it in the end as Ryder didn't get a lot of that one. Skied it straight up in the air. Out for a Vikings throw. Still in the attacking half of the field, and they've had a sustained amount of attacking half possession over the last few minutes. See if they can make good on and extend this lead. Getting insurance is something they haven't done very well this season. Outside of that SMU game, it's been a lot of 1-goal differences in their results, and unfortunately they've ended up on the wrong side of a lot of those crucial 1-goal results. All 3 of their GNAC losses this year have been by 1 goal. Make that both of their 2 GNAC losses. That's in the box for MSUB, flicked up by Diego Lopez as he did just enough. And it ended up actually coming off the attacker, Senf. Couldn't direct it goalward. It's going to be a goal kick, Vikings.
Number 14, Zach Browning.
Zach Browning, who came on as a sub midway through the first half, does the same here in the second. Dyer plays it short. Near side corner, Vikings trying to break out. Sundberg. Vikings unable to break the press on this occasion. Still penned into their own half. MSUB, who have not had a lot of attacking half possession over the last 10 or so minutes, looking to change the tides of this one. They need to make that change as they've got 20 minutes to even the scoreline. Still 2-1. Bunnell's goal still the difference. MSUB, their only goal came just a minute into the game. Their first attack drew a penalty and finished it off. Cleared away. Janssen, good first touch to bring it down and pass it off to Wall. As they look back to Janssen. Perfectly placed for him. He took a heavy scooped first touch and it was too much. Jones was able to get there. George Jones, who is the only Yellow Jacket to have played every minute of 2024. He's been very effective today. Vikings, who are close to evening up that shot chart. They were 5 behind the shot differential as we went into the break, but now it's 10-11 in favor of MSUB. Of course, none of that mattering as long as the score line still stays 2-1. Vikings trying to make that 3-1. Corner kick, Caden Wall, near post, headed up in the air by the Yellow Jackets. Wall. Early ball that he mishit. Ends up at the top of the box. No Viking able to even challenge for it. Cleared out. Foul. Fukai Imamura, who has been called a number of times today for too much physicality, especially in those one-on-one duels with the attacker shielding the ball away from him. That time he commits the foul against Sonagano. MSUB take the free kick short and back. Breakout pass intercepted by Caden Wall. Just kept in bounds long enough for Hakamata to win it away. Wall looks forward, looking to spring Bunnell, who couldn't get his run off. Ryder, line drive to midfield, skips past the foot of Browning. Out of bounds, Vikings throw and Vikings substitutions incoming. It's going to be Aiden Fernandez. Started this match and was on the score sheet last week against Northwest Nazarene. It's also going to be Johar Tidblom, the junior co-captain, coming in. And Krubel Tesfaye coming in, so a couple changes in defense for the Vikings. Fukai Imamura will stay out there. And it looks like Sebastiano Silvetti is going to take a seat, something we have seen very infrequently in his 2 seasons as the Vikings leading center back. The center back pairing is going to be Fukai Imamura and Krubel Tesfaye. So Silvetti, a rare break. He's played just about every single minute for the Vikings since the start of his redshirt freshman year last season. And he's definitely earned those minutes. Krubel Tesfaye, who's played a lot of those next to him, has also been excellent in his 1.5 seasons. And Tidblom, who's been a bit of a utility defender, he'll slide into the other center back role. Bunnell, couple step overs, top of the box, trying to go far side. Lucas Hakamata has space. He winds up and shoots, parried away and collected by Ryder. A good opportunity and a solid strike by the co-captain Hakamata, but couldn't beat Ryder. Shots even now at 11 apiece. 6 saves in the match for Ryder. He's been very solid. The only goals he's conceded have been from the spot and from an Eric Bunnell chance from just about 6 yards out that he did not have a good opportunity to get hands to. Wow, heavy touch, loses it. Diagonal ball, searching for Zach Browning. It's going to get there to him at the edge of the box, but he's going to be offside. Dyer set to take the free kick off the referee's whistle. Back spinning ball up towards Bunnell. Can't make contact with it. Janssen applying the pressure. Wins it away. And now the referee points the other way for an MSUB throw-in. They'll make some changes on the break. Mateo Bosch will come in for his first appearance of the afternoon. Bosch, the freshman out of Thunder Bay, Canada. Prepped at St. Ignatius. The rare GNAC Canadian player who does not play for Simon Fraser. Simon Fraser, the lone Canadian representative in all of NCAA. As Sonagano almost had a step there on Gerard Tidblom, who did excellently to adjust, get himself between the ball and the attacker, and win the free kick. It's just what you want from the junior co-captain out of Norrköping, Sweden. Tesfaye backspins it up towards Jacob Sundberg. Fernandez takes it down. Fernandez trying to get it back to Sundberg. Does find him. Quick cross in is deflected out. That's going to be close to a corner kick, and it will be a corner. Right down by that corner flag. Vikings, who had 15 corner kicks against Northwest Nazarene and were unable to make good on them, have had similar difficulty today. Janssen, it was a free throw in the end. He got it off the free throw routine and put it into the box, though. A foul is committed by Hakamata. Vikings have slowed this game down, which might be what they want to do with the lead. The wind has died down significantly. It was absolutely gusting in the first half. Not as much of an issue for the second 45 minutes thus far. And that is certainly going to help the defense and the Vikings and the goalkeeper Charlie Dyer in trying to see this one out. Won't be a shutout, but if they are able to keep MSUB off the board again, they'll have a big second consecutive GNAC win. A lot of work left to do, though, with 13 minutes left. Yellow Jackets have been knocking on the door at several occasions in this game. They drive to the end line, this time on the far side. They put it in, and it's easily claimed by Dyer. Not enough on the cross, and Dyer, thankfully, just falls down to his right side to collect. And Dyer in no hurry to get rid of it. And puts a lot into that one, all the way up towards the target man, Bunnell. MSUB win the header, though. They look to play it long. Imamura back. Vikings, who have dominated the all-time series between these two teams, have won the last 10 games between the two programs, trying to make that an even 11. Clock is going to get stopped right here by Jello Boubacar, as he's going to have another conversation with an MSUB defender back there. I believe it's Jack Jarrett. I believe that was actually Collier Thomas there. He's had his talking to. Everything's settled out. Clock restarts at 11:45. Headed out, Vikings throw in. Western Washington found themselves in a similar situation earlier this season against Sonoma State in non-conference play, holding a lead deep into the match. They ended up giving up a penalty kick in that game, which tied it up at one apiece. Other than that, when they've gotten a lead, they have been excellent. Have not lost a game in which they've held the lead in 2024. Janssen goes down. Wanted the whistle, didn't get it. Goal kick substitutions incoming. And they will be for the visitors.
Number 8, Biama Fetkenhauer, as well as number 10,
It will be Biama Fetkenhauer and Ryan Hanley coming in. Rene Tello amongst the Yellow Jackets to go to the bench here with 10.5 remaining. Fetkenhauer, who has an assist in GNAC play this year against St. Martin's. A co-captain trying to spark something. He's had maybe the best chance for open play in this match as Fedkenhauer missed around 6 yards out on a first-time volley, which he put over the crossbar early on in that first half. The throw-in marches the visitors up the pitch a little bit more. Vikings throwing more and more numbers behind the ball right now, perhaps trying to see out a result. Back line of Tidblom, Imamura, Sundberg, and Krubel Tesfaye as a long throw all the way to the top of the 6. Pops back out. Hakamata goes down, and that is going to end up drawing a whistle. The long throw routine came from Kolya Thomas, one of the captains on this team. Up towards Janssen. Janssen holds up play, just stays on his feet, barely. Goes through the legs of the defender, but reacting quickly and getting it off of Janssen. Imamura, no nonsense, heads it right back. Two teams playing tennis right now over the midway line, trying to get a established foot in the momentum and possession of this game. It's been hard to find in the second 45, much less eventful than the first. Only a couple really quality chances we've seen so far in the second half, as Imamura is forced to clear that one out with on-rushing, pressing attackers. Wall flicks it back for Sundberg. Lifted up far side. It's going to be Florian Seff and Lucas Hakamata battling for it. Hakamata clears it and keeps it in bounds for Albin Janssen. Back to Hakamata. Long ahead, Aiden Fernandez is making the run. It's really well weighted. Caught in two minds of the goalkeeper Ryder. Now back to his line. Bunnell was in the middle, didn't get to him. Chasing it in is Janssen, has a shot just wide. Albin Janssen came out of absolutely nowhere to get to that one and hit it first time, but side-footed it just a little bit wide and high on the near post side. Ryder. That one got caught up in the wind. Still blowing right to left on your screen as Janssen wins a duel and comes up with it. His shot once again is over the bar. Janssen back-to-back opportunities that he's skied. He's been so consistently converting in 2024. So good to see after a difficult 2023 where he had a lot of shots without production, but a frustrating couple minutes for him right there as Jar Tidblom was physical with the defender, or the attacker rather, and MSUB wanted to get a free kick out of it, but waved on by the referee. Fernandez, 3 white shirts around him, gets a kick in the back of the leg, goes down with the whistle. 7 minutes left for the Vikings to hold on for their second consecutive GNAC win. Billings, who haven't been too successful playing from behind in 2024, have no other choice down the stretch here. Find an answer, find an equalizer,
Number 6, Renee Tello.
or leave Bellingham with a loss, as Renee Tello, who just came off the pitch, will come on to replace Guillermo Gonzalez. That's an attacking substitution by Paul Cuevas, and nothing else to do at this point in the match besides throw players forward. This top line right now is looking like 4 dedicated attacking players for MSUB. Just a 3-man back line. Tello's first touch off the bench. Looks like he got a knock there. Took the free kick quickly, too quickly for Bubakar's liking. Forced him to take it again. So they'll have a more slow, composed windup to this free kick, certainly in a distance where they can put it into the box. The clock is ticking right now as Dyer passed that one back and it got beyond MSUB. They need to act quick, and just about everything right now is right there. Quao Serrano threw a shoulder into the chest of So Nagano, and we've got a little bit of pushing and shoving here between these two teams. It's been a chippy match. And this is the kind of match where both teams feel that they can come out with a result. And with the opportunities that each squad has had, they each have reason to think they deserve a result. Some of the frustrations perhaps coming out of a long, wet 85 minutes we've played so far. Everything broken up, no cards brought out by Boubacar. Western Washington women's soccer, you see them waiting behind the goal for their 7 o'clock appointment with Simon Frazier, watching the final minutes of this match. The men trying to put them in a position for a possible doubleheader sweep. They've still got 5 minutes, 31 seconds to defend, though. Lifted up. Dyer calls for it. He doesn't get there. And it's a free kick against MSUB. They wanted a penalty on that, as it was a coming together with two Yellow Jackets still down on the ground, as they are absolutely incensed right now. Boubacar stops the clock. He's being surrounded by MSUB players as they're now coming over to beg their case with the near side assistant referee. Dyer went up to claim it. It was a couple of Yellow Jackets who got there first, played off the back of an attacker up in the air. Bodies were flying around, and Boubacar ended up siding with the hosts and giving them the free kick, stopping the attack, and there will be no discussion between himself and his assistant, despite the pleas from the visitors. Now, I know firsthand, as someone who has been down at the scorer's table right on the touchline, that it can get fiery on those benches, especially in a tightly contested game. A close call late on. It can get nasty down there, but looks like Quao Serrano and Isaac Perez or Quao Serrano, and Captain Biama Fedenkenhauer are talking things out there after what was a tense couple of minutes. Clock has finally restarted here. 5 minutes left in the match. Vikings still holding that lead, that 1-goal advantage. Bunnell wins the header on a quick reaction as Jones heads it back to his keeper. Toss it out quick. A mistouch there by Fedenkenhauer, but it ends up at its intended target, and Tello. Pass ahead is deflected and intercepted by Sundberg. Clock is stopped again. It looks like we're going to see finally our first yellow card of this match. Aiden Fernandez was fouled by Tello, who will pick up the booking and has no arguments about it, as the Viking bench is yelling that Aiden Fernandez to keep a cool head and not get booked himself. Fernandez, a very experienced player on this team, a senior. Didn't look close to losing his head there. As now, Jalil Boubacar is making his way towards the near side to discuss with his assistant as well as the technical areas and the table. In discussion right now with Greg Brisbane. He will come back out and restart play. Clock at 4:42 restarts on Joar Tidblom's kick. Up towards Bunnell. Flicks it up. And it's going to be a corner kick. It took the last touch off of Jones.
Montana State Billings, number 12, Davis Bookman.
Davis Bookman is going to be the substitute. The last-ditch substitute to try to change something. Vikings with just the call they needed, getting that corner kick off a long free kick. And that's going to take up to a minute off the clock here that MSUB is not going to be able to attack during. Just a narrow 13-12 shot advantage for the Vikings, but they have converted better. They're the only team to score from open play. Wall over to take the outswinger. He's going to play it short to Quao. Goes back to Wall. The routine ends up with Aiden Fernandez, who just got all under that one. Ryder has to play it as quick as he can on the goal kick. Charlie Dyer, the goalkeeper for the Vikings, directing traffic, getting his team set to try to hold on to this lead. Tidblom wins the duel, a crucial duel at midfield. Hakamata lifts it ahead for Fernandez to run onto. It's going to be close between him and Ryder. Ryder just comes out with it. Rolls it out short to Tello. Breaks the press up to Jarrett. Jarrett hounded by Bunnell, forced to lump it long. Tidblom, no whistle as he won the header. Fedgenhauer into the middle. Imamura with the clearance that time. Senf, long distance deflected effort, which was bobbled and eventually secured by Charlie Dyer, who does well to keep that from going out for a corner kick. Dyer knew that wasn't going to be on net, but he wanted to claim it, take some time off the clock, and destroy the current chance, at least, of MSUB creating off that counter. Sends it long, chested down by Bunnell. Bunnell can't control it on his third touch, though. Tesfaye brings it down off the thigh and clears it back, no nonsense. As Bunnell's down on the ground in some pain. Play continues with Bunnell down in pain on the ground as Sundberg is being told to kick it out of bounds so Bunnell can get some attention. Referee's going to stop the clock here. All twos up on the board. 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Bunnell was in a collision there, and he's holding his right quad, it looks like, and he looks to be in a decent amount of pain. Hopefully nothing too serious. Vikings trainer Masa Magida out to tend to him as Bunnell hasn't moved for a couple seconds here. Bunnell, who as it stands, has the game-winning goal in this match. You really hope it's not too serious for the senior. Pulled up holding that right hamstring. Possibly a muscular injury. Definitely not what you like to see. As he's going to be helped to his feet and having trouble putting weight on that right leg, but he is going to walk off the field. And it will be Sebastiano Silvetti. No surprises coming in to replace Bunnell. So now the Vikings lone player on the pitch who has only played as a striker in Bunnell, he goes to the bench with an injury. It looks like it's going to be all defense here for the last 2.5 minutes. Every other player on the pitch has defensive experience and can be a part of this all hands on deck parking of the bus. Janssen becomes the lone striker atop the formation. Player, remember, who played right back a lot of the last year during his goal-scoring drought. As running into the referee there is Quao Serrano, and he looks shaken up after colliding with the referee. And this is a first. Quao Serrano ran straight into Jallo Boubacar. He might have gotten a shot where you don't want to. And he'll need a second to recoup. Just under 2 minutes. Clock stopped at 1:56 seconds as Quao is back up to his feet. Perhaps feeling it on the left shoulder. Every Yellow Jacket up into the box. It's put towards him. Flicked on the deck. Tesfaye gets the clearance. Hakamada, desperation header, keeps it just out for a second. Still with MSUB. A player's down on the ground. He's now back up on his feet. He takes a shot. The ball came right off him as he's still limping around in there. Vikings trying to keep it away. Shot blocked by Silvetti off the bench. Janssen wins that one, gives it to Aiden Fernandez, trying to break down the other way. The rain picks up, the wind picks up. The Vikings trying to put it away here. Fernandez trailed by the overlapping run of Hakamada. He won't get there, but we're going to tick down to just over a minute. Serrano up for Wall. Wall too handsy right there with Bogman. Clock stopped at 1:04 seconds. Boubacar being quick to signal to stop the clock here. No time wasting. We go to the near side. Vikings, a lot of black shirts, dark blue shirts in the box. Passed in towards Tello. Tello sends in an early cross that Tesfaye pops straight up in the air. Out as far as Fedgenhauer, back into that near side corner. Vikings control it. They clear it once again on the deck this time. That one's going to stay in bounds just barely. Ryder does well with the feet to get it up towards Florian Senf. They look for their lead scorer in Nagano. They can't find it there as it was defended by Silvetti. 23 seconds on the clock. Throw in MSUB. They've got the big throw of Kolya Thomas. They're going to look to it here as a pseudo set piece. They're going to throw players into the box. Hope they get a second ball as a whistle goes. I believe that is a call against Kolya Thomas for stepping over the line on the throw-in, and that is going to do it. What a way to end this one as the Vikings hold on. 2-1 win, their second consecutive win in GNAC play. They go to 2-2-1 in conference competition. They jump to the top half of the GNAC table as MSUB. They fall to a similar 2-2-1 record as they drop a game after drawing against Northwest Nazarene in their last conference. The game winner to the senior Eric Bunnell, his third tally of the season. 20 minutes into this one was the difference after penalties by Guillermo Gonzalez and Quao Serrano made it 1-1 in the first 3 minutes, but it was a defensive effort the rest of the way for Western Washington. 4 saves for Charlie Dyer. He did not concede from open play as the Vikings are on a good run right now. Their first win of GNAC play last week, their second here today, as it was a competitive and at times too competitive matchup. But the Vikings are able to come up with the victory. Now, that is just the first game of today's doubleheader. Western Washington women in just an hour at 7 o'clock. They'll be taking on Simon Fraser in a huge matchup. I hope you can tune into that one for perhaps the biggest remaining home match of the women's season. I'll be on the call, your voice of Vikings soccer, Adam Race. For now, signing off. Good afternoon, and as always, Go Vikes.